Welcome to the edition of Let's Play Farming Simulator 2013 on the American Farm. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I always start with that. I always say alright to start off, and I have no idea why. Well, I should have moved closer to this before. Anyways, I was just filling up the combine over here and getting ready for this harvest. Our oats are ready to be harvested. Let's just get in the cab here. So our oats are ready to be harvested. Our combine is filled with fuel and ready to go. So I'm going to just set him up on his way over here. Now remember, this is, well, oats are supposed to produce straw on this map. I'm pretty sure they are. If they're not, that's fine too. But if they do produce straw, that's going to be awesome because then we can bale it. Now, that does raise another interesting question, which is, are you going to be able to bale the straw? Now, I recall Dirt Hebbers had a problem with this when he was playing on Duke's map about not being able to collect oat straw or sell oat straw. So that's going to present an interesting problem. So that's one of the things to think about. Anyways, let's fire up this combine here. There we go. And let's put it to first point and see how this works out. Now it should produce straw. Do we have the chopper on or off? Disable chopper. Disable chopper. Oh, it does produce straw. Now again, like I said, I don't know if it actually... Ooh, why is it so quick? There we go. Oh my goodness, this is going to create a crazy amount of oats. That's nuts. Anyways, so yeah, it does produce straw, as you see. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to collect it because it's oat straw, not regular straw from wheat or barley. So let's go over here and fire up our Ford on the tipper so he can collect all of our oats. And I had him seeding before, and he is now done his seeding. I guess I should start the engine first. That would help. And I forgot how much of a fuel hog this tractor was. It's crazy. I think there was one time where it got to the point where it pretty much ran out of fuel, and I had to actually reset it, I think. Because it wouldn't... No, I didn't have to reset it. I had to manually take control over it and fill it up because it just used so much fuel though. Anyhow. Alright, so we have soybeans that were collected last time. So let's just set it to first waypoint, combine, set it to the Lexion. There we go. I imagine the Lexion's going to be full pretty quickly based on what I've seen here already. So let's just ride along. Does it have in-cab sound, this tractor? No, it just seems like it does for some reason at this particular time. Alright, anyways, so we have 21 chickens still, 5 cows still, and now we have 172 pigs. So our pigs have been reproducing like machines. It's crazy. Alright, so we need to hop into here and unload him like so. Oh, that looks pretty good in there. Looks like, I don't know what it looks like. I guess that's the canola. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Anyway, so because we're going to be producing quite a bit of material, I think we're going to have to stick around with the combine a little bit here. Let me just tell you a little bit of a story. Not really a story, let me just tell you what happened last time. So I finished harvesting the soybeans last time around, and they produced a crazy amount of soybeans. It was pretty silly, actually. In the end, after harvesting the whole field, after harvesting the whole field, we ended up with 454,763 liters of soybeans. I don't know. Somehow I don't think that's correct. I don't know why we got so many soybeans. I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but we have a crazy amount of soybeans now. Let me just show you. I'm not even joking. I even sold a little bit of soybeans just to stay net positive. So we still have 438,000 liters of soybeans. I think something's wrong because I got that many. I'm not complaining. I just don't think it's right. Let's just say that. We did get 90,000 liters of wheat last time around, or somewhere around that, I think. And barley, I think we got 80,000 liters of barley. But that is a crazy amount of soybeans that we got. Like, to actually get, over 100,000 liters is pretty surprising, actually. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind. And based on how much we're getting here as well, I have a feeling the oats are gonna produce quite a bit as well. Now the funny thing is, this is what this basically boils down to is kind of like a hack for this map, is what it kind of feels like. Because if I stick to oats and soybeans now, I will basically have enough money really easily to keep going and get everything I need. Now, that brings me up to this point, like, do you think I should keep going with oats and soybeans? Like, I like the crops, which is kind of cool. I like having the multi-crops. But the problem is, you do get a lot. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, to get that many soybeans from this size of field. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure you get roughly more yield from wheat on a field or barley from a field than soybeans. Because I think this is the first time I've played on a map where we have where you get this many soybeans and this many oats from a field. So I don't know. I think it was just the map creator put that in there. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's accurate or not. Is what I'm trying to get to. So let me know what your feelings are on that. I may continue to do it once in a while, just for an injection of money, perhaps, or just to change it up. We still need to do crop rotations and whatnot. We don't want to do the same crop in the same field because we need to try and keep those weeds and whatnot down. So, and the insects. So that's one of the situations. We'll probably still rotate it in every once in a while, but I probably won't do it too often because that is, I don't know. It just felt a little ridiculous to have that many liters of soybeans after harvesting this whole field. And like I said, based on what this seems like, it's going to be a very similar situation on this, with the oats as well. So I don't know if it's because they're the two non-conventional fruits that aren't from Farming Simulator, and that's the reason why they produce so many, or some other reason, but they definitely produce a lot. Now, I picked up a couple new mods. Let me just show them to you. I feel like I always pick up new mods. I also did a little bit of mod culling, if you want to call it that. I got rid of some mods I don't use very often, so I checked out. I had the other Case Puma, or Puma, depending who you're talking to. I got rid of it. I didn't like it. It was okay for the most part, but I didn't like it very much, so I got rid of it. I picked up a Ford 846, 230 horsepower. 38,000 for that price is actually fairly accurate. I checked online to see if that was an acceptable price, and it was. It wasn't unreasonable by any means. Right. The other one I picked up was... I picked up this, which is a John Deere 4255, 112 horsepower. Or at the drawbar, 112, 127 on the PTO. This is the same. These two are the same horsepower, just slightly different. And this one is 148, 150 horsepower, so a little bit more powerful. 22 grand. I didn't check the prices on these. They have a couple things I don't like about them, but overall they're not too bad. What else did I pick up? This one right here, a John Deere 8440. This only has 215 horsepower. It's a cool looking tractor, actually. It has dynamic exhaust, the pedals work in it, has in-cab sound, a couple little cool little things. The flywheel in the front actually works, but at 215 horsepower, probably not going to be very helpful for us. Not going to lie to you here. Even though it shows in the picture that it's pulling a big old cultivator, I don't think that cultivator and that tractor can actually be together in the sense of I don't know if it's powerful enough. It's hard to tell. This is how I'm going about it. So the thing we want to, this is our first kind of one of our early goals is to try and get this sower with this fertilizer tank, and that's a 12-meter sower. And if I go by that, so it's not really heavy tillage or anything like that. It's just a regular cultivator as well as a seeder, and it doesn't say how much horsepower you need. But based on this, so this requires 270 horsepower. It's 15 meters wide, and this is 12 meters wide. So 3 meters. So maybe 250, maybe. But you're also pulling a tank as well behind that. So I don't think 230 horsepower or 215 horsepower would be okay with that. So that's the reason why I'm kind of against going for that one. Although I do like the tractor, so I may get it later on. I don't know. So there we go. So that's the other mod I picked up. Where am I? Go back to tractors here. So I picked up that one as well. I looked at some other case tractors. They're not very different than these ones. Not worth having an extra mod for them, at least. These are the more realistic versions, but it wasn't worth getting another version of it. Did I pick up any other mods? I don't think so. I think I actually took out quite a few mods just because I was getting to the point where I had too many mods. It was taking too long to load, and it was just not worth having that many mods that I wasn't using, basically. So, was there anything else that I picked up? I did pick up this wrapper. It does work. It's standard. It's not a very fancy wrapper. And what else did I pick up here? I think that's it. I picked up the class quadrant, I think, as well. But I think I showed you that already as well. So those are some of the mods I picked up. So I think what we're going to do in terms of horsepower is, some of you may not. So these tractors, I could go for this, but for 300,000, only getting 340 horsepower, it's not worth it. They're just too expensive. Colossus, we're going to try and stay away from Colossus because we're trying to get North American equipment. This Fent would be nice. Oh, that tractor's taking its time. So what other tractor we're looking at is, where is it here? Not those Fents. So we could get this Ford, which could do some tillage for us, but not too much. 38,000, 230 horsepower, so it's possible we could get that for some things. It's a very simple model. It does work, mind you, but it's a very simple model, so. Oh, really? I think it's run into that pole like every single time. It's ridiculous. Oh, well. Let's just turn him around here. And then maybe he will drive behind the combine proper this time. Yeah, looks like it. Alright, so this is the first oats harvest. So it looks like we're going to get quite a few thousands of liters of oats as well based on this, because we have 30,000 liters and we've done basically a headland and not even a full pass yet. So just to give you an idea of how many oats we're going to get, it's going to be a lot. That's what it boils down to. A lot more than probably, I'm going to guess it's going to be the same area as the soybeans. So regardless as to whether we do get as many as we did, I think it's a little unrealistic, but I'm not going to change it just because that was the way the map was created, and it does allow us to get some other things, so it allows us to progress a little bit quicker. So I'm not totally against it, although it's not 100% what I would hope for. Ah, well. We do have a great demand coming up for soybeans. If it's a 1.5 or if it's a two. What I mean is if it's 2 times or 1.5 times, we don't know yet. But it's going to be, I think it's at the port. So $974 a ton. So if it's double, it'll be $1,800 a ton. And we are playing on hard, and that's what surprises me the most. So the map author made it not crazy difficult on hard, but still fun. So I can live with that. Now we are racing against the weather here a little bit. It's supposed to rain today according to the weather, so hopefully we can get this harvest done before it does rain. It's just straw on the ground, so if it does get rained on, it's not a big problem. But if we were doing hay right now and it got rained on, that would not be good. That would just create a whole bunch of problems. Where is that Ford? I'm just going to increase his field speed here because he's going to, if I don't, he's never going to keep up with this tractor, this combine. There we go. And if he doesn't keep up, it'll be the long harvest. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up anyways because he's going to fill up numerous times before he even gets close. So I think, ooh, that's a bad turn. Yeah. I think we're going to need to maybe get another tipper soon. Oh, it seems silly to have an overloader just for this little area. We could do it though. How much horsepower does it say you need for this? I'm guessing around a couple, maybe 150 area. This overloader, we don't know. But we only really need the overloader for oats and soybeans at this point, so I'm just, yeah, we don't have anything that's powerful enough for that. I thought I had another overloader. Oh, this one. Yeah, so it seems like, yeah, we don't have a tractor powerful enough for that. Although, 200 plus for that. Yeah, I guess not. These are 20,000. We don't have, actually, yeah, we could use the, the New Holland for those, maybe. So that's something to consider. I do like these gravity wagons. I don't know why, but a bit on the pricey side. What else do we have? This is an overloader. We probably could use this overloader with our New Holland if we needed to. Yeah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. I think. I did take out some of the tippers because I just had too many, and I use some specific tippers. I don't really change it up too much. So that's the reason why I haven't really. I don't have that many tippers. I had more before, and if I find some nice ones, I might keep them. But I haven't. There's a few. I had a few that I had them on there, and I don't know why. But this is what we're heading for. I think this is 130,000. So I'm figuring we need at least a 300 horsepower tractor. Actually, well, some in the 300 horsepower area. And where's that Ford? I can hear him around, but I don't know where he is. So this is what I was dealing with off camera. And because that tipper that Ford's using is only 15,000 liters, and the speed at which we fill up with these oats and soybeans, this is what it would boil down to. It's the same thing every single time. Like even this combine set this slow, set to 7 miles an hour, which is probably still a little quick in reality for harvesting, but especially with if this was realistically the amount of yield you were getting, you would not be driving this fast, even like 10 kilometers an hour. Like realistically, I'm gonna say somewhere in here, 3 or 4 miles per hour would probably be a little bit more realistic. Maybe 5 would be probably the most realistic speed, and maybe that's what we should set it at. But it would take forever still, which is why 9's kind of like where I kind of feel like, yeah, you maybe could do that, but it really depends on the crop. Like if you're trying to harvest, if it's a really high yield, like this supposedly is, you would not be going too fast. You would be going a bit slower. But it's farming simulator, so you can kind of go a bit faster, and it doesn't make a difference. I don't want to, like, it would be it'd just be a really long process if I made it super, super slow. So I like to keep it realistic, but within reason is what it boils down to. So now the next question is, I don't know if you can actually bale that straw. I want to say we can. You should be able to, but I'm really not sure because it's oat straw as opposed to regular straw. So I don't want to do that right now because I don't know why our Ford's taking its sweet time over there. I don't want to do it right now because I kind of have to babysit the combine a little bit here. We do have a crazy amount of pigs right now. We have 173 pigs. So they're getting up there pretty quickly. So we're going to need to start considering selling some of those pigs. Although there's no great demand at this point for pigs. So I'm not overly worried about that yet. My biggest concern right now, I think, is getting a big tractor for tillage and for sowing, because it does take. We're not being as efficient as we can be by having. Is he full already? Oh man. We're not being that efficient by using the 5-meter seeder and the 5.7 meter cultivator. Although I did run into some issues when I was cultivating with that heavy that Bumford heavy cultivation unit. It didn't break through the soil in some places, so obviously there were some pretty big compaction issues. So I'm glad we decided to move up to that heavy cultivation unit for the time being. It's good. It's working well for now. As I mentioned, here's one of those divots I was talking about. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes right down there. That's one. So I know you can kind of see it from this way. It's right. I don't know. Right here. It's kind of. I can see it on my screen when I back up like this, but I don't know if you can. Anyways, so there are some divots on this map. That's fine. Which is what it would be like in real life anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I did run into some issues with that heavy cultivation unit, so we're going to stick with that for maybe a season or two, then maybe we're going to try and upgrade to something else, just because you don't want to do the same type of tillage every single time, or else you'll destroy your soil, basically. So one of the other options we're looking at maybe in a season or two is going to some a little bit lighter cultivation, like a chisel plow right here. That's one of the options that we're thinking about. This one's got some small tines on it that we could go to as well eventually. So this is the game I was playing off camera, waiting for the Ford. I actually think in the end I actually brought the Kenworth out and was using the Kenworth a little bit too, just off camera, just because it was just a bit more efficient than using the Ford with a small tipper. But when I record, I don't do that, just because it's not what I want to show you guys. But I do it sometimes off camera just to make it a bit more efficient, so things progress a bit quicker. Otherwise, it's a lot of what I'm doing right now is just waiting for the Ford to come around. So, all right, here. Perfect. I went tobogganing on New Year's Day. Yep, I said tobogganing, or sledding, whatever you want to call it. Totally had so much fun. Haven't done that in years, and it was funny because there was 4 of us, and we're all like in our 30s, basically, or late 20s, early 30s, and we all went tobogganing. It was a lot of fun, actually. Haven't done that for years, and it's one of those things you don't do very often. Then you do, or like, you remember what it was like when you did it when you were younger, and you remember how much fun it is, and then as an adult, you realize, wow, you don't really think of how difficult it is to walk up a hill when you're young, but when you're older, you're like, oh man, this is more difficult than I remember it being. But it was still a lot of fun. That wasn't too bad for me, but a couple other people who were there. One person got cold, so what do you expect, I guess? You know, I think it was like minus 20 outside. Minus 20 Celsius, not Fahrenheit, by the way. So I'm not sure what that is actually in Fahrenheit, but it was cold. Today's even colder today here in Ottawa. Today it's minus 26 Celsius outside, with a wind chill, which basically means what it feels like. It actually feels like minus 39 outside. So it's pretty darn cold, especially if you're not from Canada. And so, well, here in Ontario, that's what it's like. If you go further up north, like in Nunavut or the Yukon or Northwest Territories, it gets even colder there. This is nothing in comparison to what they get. Like they might, in terms of their weather, like they might think this is a nice warm day in comparison to what they're used to. Like for them, probably minus 30 outside or minus 40 outside is like a normal day. Like for them, probably minus 40 is probably like without the wind chill is what it would be, and then with the wind chill, it feels like minus 60 or something like that. I can't say I've ever experienced that cold, that amount of cold, but I know I have some friends who lived in Iqaluit, specifically in Nunavut, and it was cold up there. So I think around like in early summer, what most people consider early summer, they already had, or late summer, sorry, they already had a lot of, not a lot of snow, but it was like minus 10, minus 20 already there. And then we were still enjoying the warm weather here, so. Oh well. So the one problem with this, I eventually hired a worker last time around, and I realized because there's that culvert kind of thing in the middle of their field, it didn't do the whole field. So I need to remember that. So basically what happened was, where is it? Well, I can't really show it on any of these screens. So what happened is this little culvert right here, it went up and down and then it stopped right there basically. Because it can't go the hard worker only goes so far. And that's why we have course play set up instead of a hard worker once again. And particularly when you have straw like this. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and bale it. And if I can't bale that straw, I'm just going to leave it. Because I'd have to actually mod the baler, I think, and I don't know if it would I don't know if I could be able to sell it or anything else, or if I'd be able to put it in the mixer. It would just create a big headache if I were to try and do anything else with it. But if it does recognize that straw and I'm able to bale it like regular bales, I will for sure bale that, because having the extra source of income is nice. Because we do have 173 pigs, they've been plowing through the straw that we've given them, and the silage, which is basically like our straw and hay mix. They've been just blowing through that like there's no tomorrow. And the water, like I showed you guys last time, the water is free if you get it from the creek, which is realistic, I think. So that's a nice feature. So I can always give the pigs water no matter what, which is free. But the amount of water they do take, I might have to upgrade that water tanker just for the pigs, but it's probably not worth it still. Alright, so let me get back to what I was thinking about. So what I was thinking about for... where are we here? No. Back to tractor. So what I was thinking about, for a larger tractor, we have a couple options. This is not going to work for everything, so I'm not going to get that. They say 270 horsepower for that 15-meter seeder, and we're pulling a tank behind it, so I'm guessing around 300 horsepower is kind of like our minimum. So none of these tractors, even the high-end ones, only have 280, so I don't think they're going to be okay. This only has 215. This has 530, which would be more than enough, and these ones, of course. Of course, the big ones down here, the big John Deeres, they would work as well. But like I said last time, they have that weird twisting thing I don't like about them. The other option is go for the John Deere 8360, which is 278,000. Has 400 horsepower. So that's one of the other options I was thinking about. It's got 400 horsepower and should be able to pull the cultivation unit as well as the tank, no problem. Where did it go? And it's not an articulated one, so we could use it for some other things too. But it is $100,000 more expensive, so I don't really need it to do very much else other than pull things, so I don't know if it's really worth it or not. So those are the ones I've been thinking about. I think I'm going to go for the John Deere 9630 again, just because I like this. Should be paying attention. Just because I like that 9630 done by Duke. It's nice, it's solid. It's not the prettiest mod, I should say, but it does work very well. I've used it, and I don't have any large complaints other than I'd like it to be a bit more fancier, but that's just me. So, alright. So, the other thing we need to consider is, another thing we need to consider is selling some pigs as well, because as I progress time and waiting for the fields to be harvested, the pigs just don't stop producing. They just keep going. So what I could do is I could let them eat all of their food and then give them and just sell them to the market. So that's one option. Or I can keep giving them at least water and straw and then use them for their liquid manure services, I guess. Because right now we have 186,000 liters of liquid manure. There's still 100% on manure, and we will need to deal with that at some point, but we only have that. Right now we only have a small tipper that can take manure, and it would take a lot of time to deal with that, so I'm not very keen on doing that, I guess is what it boils down to. Although we could use, we could take the manure out and put it into one of these, and then we could hook it up to course play and have our course play guys get filled up there. That's a possibility as well. And that means we could deal with the manure from the cows as well once we get some more cows. So yeah, so this is the even I'm only going at 9 miles an hour, which is kind of on the slower side, I guess, in terms of how people normally play with course play. This is what happens because there's just so much. So it is going to be close to the soybeans. So we already have 100,000 liters of oats. I don't know why we get that many. I don't have the more realistic mod installed, although I do have the more realistic vehicles still installed. For example, so like these are all the more realistic vehicles, and the only reason I keep those is just so it gives me an idea for power requirements. So sometimes vehicle or implements that I pick up as mods don't suggest a power requirement, and that's why I keep them around, just to give me an idea. So like that 12 meter cultivation seeding unit, the reason why I configure it's roughly around 300 plus horsepower because it's 12 meters and it's carrying a tank behind that. So 270 horsepower is what they would need for these 15 meter cultivation seeder unit, and I just figured they're pulling a tank behind it, so a bit more power never really hurt. And in terms of prices, it makes sense to get a more powerful tractor because that will allow us to get into some other bigger units. So if we get that John Deere 9630 again, we will be able to get a what am I thinking of that big case precision air seeder as well, which will be nice. Alright, perfect. So he's doing a pretty good job. After I finally figured out the right width to set this course play at, it turned out 7 meters was the optimal width. Like, it still misses a little tiny bit when it starts off. Guys, you can see right there at the start, it misses a little tiny bit. But after that, it doesn't miss anything, and it uses all of its header, which is nice. Although it's kind of strange because it's actually supposed to be a 7.5 meter header, but apparently needs an extra 0.5 meters worth of space to be 100% efficient. I don't understand that, but whatever. So we don't quite have enough money to do... actually, you know what I could do? Let me just check. Now that I think about it. No. So what I could do is... I'm going to slow this guy down to 4 4 miles an hour. And I'm going to do a little bit of tabbing. I know some of you wanted me to try and resist tabbing. And I have been pretty good at that, actually, which is surprising for me. I honestly didn't expect me to not tab. But I have tabbed a little bit, but I'm trying to keep it down to a minimum. Like if vehicles are close to each other. But the reason why I'm going to be tabbing around in a bit is because oats there's no great demand coming for oats, and we have 100,000 liters of oats already. So we might as well sell some oats so we can get some money so we can do some more things with it. So like I mentioned, the same thing is happening with the oats, the same thing with the soybeans, and we're getting just a crazy amount of soybeans and oats. So what I'm going to do is going to put this guy underneath our oats silo and fill him up with oats, because we're going to get this, I'm assuming, a similar amount of oats. So I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to get, 400,000 liters of oats, I suppose. So let's just... There we go. And that's where I said I was going to be tapping, just so I can unload this combine. And what I'll do is I'll unload this combine like so, and then I'll tap back to the Kenworth. But like I said, I'm going to try and keep it to a minimum. Normally I wouldn't do this, but in this circumstance, just so we can progress a little bit more, I'm going to do this. And then we'll see how much money we get after selling a load of oats. Alright, he's almost full. So what we're going to do is just back up a little bit. Got to make sure we get an even distribution of the oats in our truck here. Alright, so where's the best place to sell? Why do I always do that? To sell oats. Freight yard. Nope. Mill. No. Port. Yes, it looks like the port then. The port is Cargill. Alright, let's go take a trip over there. Now, that combine shouldn't fill up nearly as quickly at the moment because it's basically running at half speed it was before. It still will fill up, but not nearly as fast, so... I was thinking about upgrading the Kenworth because the Whoa! Guess I took that turn a little bit too tight there. You can tell I don't play Euro Truck Simulator. And it doesn't help that I was in the cab as well. There we go. That should be fine that time. It's a long trailer, I always forget this. I was thinking about upgrading the Kenworth because when it has a full load like this, it's not quite as powerful. I don't know how much horsepower it actually has. Let's just check. Does it say here? Total weight, 1,800 kilograms. 430 horsepower. And what I was thinking about was... That's a heavy hauling unit. We don't need that. Not yet, at least. What other options did we have? That's 430, I believe I said. And I just think this one is not powerful enough either. Man, it's only got single axle, so we can't really use that properly for our truck we have. This has got, does it say? 475. 475. No, it doesn't say. That has 475. I guess all the Kenworths have 475. I'm not sure. It doesn't say what the T800 has. This is where the tabbing was coming into play, just so I could do this, as I mentioned. And let's unload. So I was thinking about upgrading the Kenworth. That was everything I was considering. Because when it has a full load like this, it slows down a little bit. Not a crazy amount. I do like the truck still, so that's probably part of the reason why I'm a little reluctant to do that. Like, right now it's full throttle and I'm going 41 kilometers an hour. But it's more realistic, I guess, in terms of the speed at which it's increasing. But when it has a full load of 70,000 liters, it slows down. So the Kenworth T800 that we had last season was a good solid truck. And we don't, in honesty, we don't really need a sleeper cab. When we originally came here, we needed the sleeper cab because it was a long haul and whatnot, so that was the reason why we got it originally. But now that we're here, we could probably trade in this Kenworth for a different one. So, although it does look appropriately sized with this trailer, which I like. So, we need to go to Cargill, which is up here. Here we go. A nice wide turn there. I like how the indicators work, and I like how they turn off once you've turned all the way, which is really cool. Not all vehicles work like that. Some of them don't do that, unfortunately, so. I don't normally signal, but it's fun to do every now and then. And this is still full throttle, by the way, which is the reason why I was looking to potentially upgrade. But so far I've discovered it's only with, when we had the Caterpillar, when we did have the Caterpillar low loader, and then we had the combine on it. It did slow down a little bit there too, so that was unfortunate. All right, so I believe this is Cargill right here. Let's just double check. Can't see the sign. I know this is Cargill, but let's just double check for before we unload here. Let's just double check. Where is it? Yes, there we are. This is considered the port. All right, so we're at $13,381. Let's see how much we get. $60, $70, $80. So we basically got like 70 grand from that. 68,627. So pretty good haul. Pretty good indeed. And that was only one load, and we can have whoa. And now it's all snappy and stuff. So we probably do we have enough for another load? I don't think so. I should have waited till the next hour. Oh, we almost do actually. Let's just do a quick little tab. Okay, he's still slow. So we might. I'm gonna try and get the rest of this load. I'm gonna do one more load of this. See, now this is the funny thing about the truck. It makes sense, mind you, because it's not weighed down. But now it goes like 80 clicks, no problem, full throttle. But when it's loaded down, it just doesn't have the same power, unfortunately. So. But I do like the truck, which is why I'm reluctant to try and to sell it. All right. I could get the Actros, the Cat Actros as well. There's that one, but I think it's the same amount of power. I think it's just the way the trucks are modded, basically. Like, I think in real life, this truck would have no problem with this particular unit that it's pulling, or that trailer. But in game, I guess it does. Just the way it's modded, though. I could go in and actually mod it myself, but I always like changing those types of like the RPMs and the acceleration, all that is really, it's finicky, and I don't know enough about all that stuff to know what's a good combination, basically. All right, we're gonna try and get one more load in here before 8 o'clock, and we need to take off our tarp. Oops, nope. Oh, there we go. And there we go. Checking our combine. He is standing still for some reason. Weird. I don't know why he's just sitting there. It's a bit strange. Let's just start him up here. Like so. Lower the head. And then we'll just set it on his nearest waypoint. There we go. Perfect. And it's 8 o'clock now. Shoot. Alright, let's sell this load anyways. What did it drop down to? So we sold 70,000 liters of oats. And it went from 900. Yeah, let's not sell this actually. We don't need that much money yet, and I'm pretty sure from the soybeans we will get that much money. So let's take a little bit of a UE here, and then we'll just keep this for the time being and wait till that price increases. Because I should have done this at 8 o'clock instead of doing it at so close to 8. Didn't realize it was that close. Oh well. Always gotta watch the markets, right? Alright, so what I'll do is I'll stop the episode there for now, folks. And I'll harvest this rest of this off screen. So my name's Ian Robson. This is Farming Simulator 2013, and we're on the American farm. Catch you guys later.